Were you anywhere near the Lahaina fire when it happened? If you were near the devastating August 2023 fires, okay, I'm about ready to get going here. Oh my God. Okay. Happy early Father's Day, everybody.
see if we can't get some stuff going here this morning. How's everybody doing? Cliff here, Curry Custom Cutlery. We got some stuff to sharpen. This is our second live stream. We get the camera adjusted just a little bit. For everybody, Alexa, turn on the lights. Alexa, good morning.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
No, I bet you don't. Alexa, good morning. Alexa, good morning. Jesus. Technology. So some of you guys know my background's in computers, electronics, robotics, engineering, repair, electronic repair, electromechanical repair. That's what I did for many years. And I've either gotten behind the curve, but a lot of times stuff these days just don't work. Like it used to never work when we were kids. We're trying to get our modems to connect and sync. I'm running OBS software, multi-streaming to 2 different platforms. I can't get a single chat window consolidated so that I can see everybody's comments on both platforms. Also, we were having some trouble with the audio signal yesterday, and so I am trying to adjust the audio using a compressor and an expander, which are kind of like radio technology. I know, too much inside baseball, I'm sure. You guys just want to watch some sharpening. Hopefully the idea is, though, it sounds okay and it doesn't sound like I'm underwater and kind of all washed out. Let me know how it sounds in the comments, if you would, please. Cool, we got some things to do. The only bummer so far is that I can't listen to music because YouTube and probably Kick will demonetize it and block it. Okay, well that took a hot minute just to get that set up. Let me keep finding what I'm looking for here. If anybody has any questions, that's things we can talk about while I'm working. All right, goofballs. I hear you. So yeah, the idea is like when I do my big long form YouTube videos, I'm really focused on trying to present the information and really be detailed. And and then I usually say belt when I mean wheel. And, I crisp my words around. When I'm doing the short form videos, I'm trying to go, hey, this is me, here we go, da, 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 and thanks, have a great day. And that's a short form. So you have a formal long form. You have this very frenetic short form. And this is live TV, sharpening TV, and it's supposed to be casual. So I'm going to be doing my sharpening, cleaning up my shop, checking out what things you guys have questions about, and kind of having a free conversation. This is going to be a thing I hope to do every Tuesdays and Thursdays, basically while I'm here at my shop. And actually, I just had a really great idea. which I'll do, is I'll put my laptop up here, and then I can see you guys, the chat, better than trying to do it on my phone. I have some projects I'm going to be working on. I have a palm grain sander. I've got this beautiful thing right here that I've never actually installed yet. I'd like to see how this machine works. So we can build a machine or two, we can do some upgrades, and hopefully we can answer a lot of questions. So I'll just get my laptop turned on here real quick. How's everybody doing? Huh? It's Thursday. Hopefully people got some plans going for this weekend. Nice. Yeah, so actually now I've got the Kickstream comments up. Everything's just a process to get set up. And my air conditioner's crapping out on me, so I'm really having a good time here this morning. First customer of the day. Hey, morning. Morning. How are you? I'm good. How can I help?
To pick up
Okay.
for Ezekiel for 7 knives.
Okay. Ezekiel got you down here at the bottom.
That's the one, yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to take them home in, or do you have a towel, or
I bring.
bring a towel? Get the towel's the best way. So many people, so many people will come to pick up, and they drop them off, and then they forget that when they come to pick up, they're going to be razor blade sharp kind of things. We did these on Tuesday. This is the one. You can chop wood with that one. This one you can chop wood with.
Yes. That thing is for bones.
Yeah, bones and things. And I'll just put that there. And we'll just line marker. Now we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put in there, put in there. And then that one I'm not going to put in there. That was its own level of danger.
Okay.
Yeah, it's razor sharp. I mean, you can shave with it. You can feel it. You can feel it. You go like that on the edge. You can feel it. I even did a video. I do videos for the thing.
Okay.
I sliced the phone book paper.
Oh, where did you put it?
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
So you got 6, 7 altogether. It was still like $60.
Okay.
Here's my card. Perfect. Yeah, if you go to YouTube, Curry Custom Cutlery. In fact, I'm actually streaming live right now. I've got a bunch of people watching. Well, I want to check it out. So I will go through my video with you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're very welcome. And watch it. You know what? Let's do one more thing. I'm sorry. Jumping around here. I go normally. Just in case. Yeah, just because that bad boy, if it fell, or it go through the car seat, stick it there. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm getting all the problems. The person's sweating.
The year, so.
Is it humid in here too? Is it a little humid?
No, not too much.
Okay.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Enjoy. Yeah, I did the video demonstration, I did a YouTube short yesterday on the micro serration. And what we're talking about is basically, well, there's different ways to do it, but here is one of the wheels here. Hello. Oh, I gotta connect my internet. So what this is this is for a flat hone, which is my machine I have down here in front of the camera, and it's a flat, it's like a record player, it just spins around. And what this is a micro serration wheel that is used to put serrations into scissors. Grooming scissors usually have serrations on one of the blades of the shear. But the key takeaway is it's a spiral. It's a very fine groove. It's like a 32nd of an inch. It's very tiny. But it's a spiral. And so what they've done is you lay the knife onto the spinning disc at a certain speed, and it takes practice. And that's all there is to it. My first sharpening training was with the indomitable Ward Collins, our Yosemite Sam, and Ward had me practice for several hours on a diamond it's called a walk-off wheel because as you set it on there, it pushes and walks off. You have to match your speed to the speed the wheel is pushing. And if you don't, then it'll skip and bump and rip it all apart, and it's ugly. And so that just takes practice, and you need to have your wheel, your speed, consistent, and then the walk-off is something you practice to lock it in, and you'll feel it push, and then you just push in and follow at the same exact speed. That's the best description I can give you of how and what you need to do for that. Still getting set up here. Hang tight there. Nice. There we go. Oh my God. seems to be a slight delay no matter what I've done so far. Perfect. So I'll get this better off with the chat is the biggest part I need out here. I know the audio is a little bumped up. Nail clippers, my experience has been I've actually lost an account because of a nail clipper, because I wanted to tell them I could sharpen anything that they had, and they gave me this crappy little nail clipper that was a cheap foreign made one. And since I couldn't get it to work like they wanted to, even though it was 20 years old and wore out and broken, then they didn't think I was good enough to sharpen their hair scissors. And so I think it's a really key thing to learn is when to say no, you know, like, and, you know, and you can make up your own wording and really make it tactful. I think there's something that as sharpeners we need to do is get better at not saying their thing is a piece of junk or tactfully saying it, you know, due to quality concerns because of the manufacturing or the age, I'm unable to guarantee that I'm going to be able to get this, and I don't want to disappoint you. You figure it out, you know. But by saying I could do something that then I couldn't do through no fault of my own, it was just absolutely super soft and bad, you know, bad geometry. I ended up screwing myself on that deal. Okay, the air conditioner's working still. It hasn't shut off on me. Desk area is cleaned up. I can actually see you guys chatting with me, which is nice. And yeah, it's the second day, so it's going to be a little all over the place. So bear with me. Hopefully this is just a fun, you know, since we're all sharpening, maybe you guys are sharpening at your shop and I'm sharpening at my shop and we can hang out together. That was the whole idea of it. We do have a lot of new stuff coming up. I got a couple things I can't really basically everything we're doing right at the moment is focused to get ready for the 4th of July sale, which will be next month in 2 to 3 weeks. And we're trying to get finally fully stocked so we have everything, all the products, and never run out of the products. That's the idea. Because we've got 50,000 things, but it seems like it's always the one product that we run out of. That's what everybody wants, and it's not a good feeling, and I get it. And so we're trying to become overstocked on everything all the time so that we're never run out of anything. Excuse me, guys. Yep, we're here, we're open. Okay, you bet. That's this guy's coming for these products. I'll show them to you. I'll show them to you guys here. This is actually, he said from the 50s or from the 60s, and it's It's got a name on it. Something Cutlery, Obsession Cutlery, Perry, New York. Interesting. It has, and the thing that's different is there's no wiggle. I mean, everything is just snug. So you got your roast beef tongs, then you got this beautiful, and that's just so cool. So this set, these two items, and they just slide right in, and then they fit right in your kit. Yeah, that's badass. I did a whole bunch of his knives for him the other day. This is one he brought me in, and we didn't sharpen it, but he got this overseas. He said this actually came from Indonesia, I believe. I could be wrong. You might recognize the name. It might have been another one that was from Indonesia, but he wanted me to tell him how sharp this was. And I took it on the best tester, and as slow as I could, and it popped an 87 out of the box. So he's going to be here. He's going to be here in a few minutes. That was him calling ahead. You know, his stow's ready to go. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Good. Right over there. What's going on, Dave? It's that time?
Yeah, about once a month or so, it's pretty bad now.
Yeah, once a month is actually not that uncommon, especially when you're working outside. I'll get you. In fact, I'm going to go live for you right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day to come in, because I'm here on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
So Mondays people drop off. Tuesdays I come in, knock it out. Wednesdays they come in. Thursdays I'm here. I'm actually live streaming with my sharpening friends. Running a little live stream, so I'm happy to it works great. I can say, hey, these are the ones I see all the time.
Yeah,
Yep. Tuesdays and Thursdays, bring them in. I can knock them out same day.
on those Thursdays.
Yep. And give me just a second. There's nothing wrong with these. They just need a little bit of touch on the edge. So every knife that comes in doesn't need thinned. I can see that this has got a perfectly good profile. There's lots of room. The cladding is still showing. It does have a little discoloration along the edge, probably just from, cutting things. And so what we'll do is you can tell he's using a ceramic rod or a steel. Lots of normal sharpening. This guy uses these knives. This is a Tajiro. I think this is the model 808, if I happen to know my models right. And it's still got its tip. Everything's fine. So I'm just going to satin polish it up for him a little bit. Put a clean, fresh edge on it, and we'll hand it right back to him. There we go. All right, guys, here we go. Got the 240 grit Scotch Brite wheel running at 3450 RPM. Down and back. this for cosmetics, but actually what we're doing is we're making sure that the cladding is in the right position. And by satin polishing it, it does make it look nice for the customer, but it also exposes and lets us check and make sure the profile and everything look good. Something Ryan Swanson talks a lot about is assessment and inspection, and they do become second nature over time. So I just satin polished the primary grind on that one, and then we'll go ahead and do the sharpening. The Tajiro we'll need to do a little bit of work on the Tajiro at some point.
Okay.
It's getting down there, but it's still fine.
Yeah, that's one I use most.
I can tell. But that, I mean, as long as it's not into the cladding, but it's getting down there, it's about halfway. Yeah. I know, just use one, use it. Had a little bit of a bow in the middle. So push a little harder and push a little harder. And then walk it all together. And that's all you got to do. There's no need to regrind the thing all the way down when you can adjust it. That's how dull that is. Down and back, and it still doesn't have a berth. There it is. Barely, but we got it. We'll have a good day as long as the air conditioning keeps going. Just as I started to record, the air conditioner dropped out on me twice. I'm like, don't do it. Do not. Please don't do that. When I first moved here to Maui, I won't say how long ago, but it was when Moondoggies was open in Lahaina. And one of my first jobs was line cook at Moondoggies, which is where Captain Jack's is now. Okay. No ventilation. If you ever seen the restaurant in Captain Jack's line, there's a little tiny box with a giant metal grill in it. And we just had a pitcher of Coca-Cola next to it. That's all I drank all day long. It was just, you never go to the bathroom, just flush. That's welcome to the tropics. Talking about miserable. Working the line with no air conditioning, nobody's got air conditioning, but with no ventilation. Yeah. Dude, I was dying. I've worked a lot of restaurant jobs, and that was probably the most brutal job. I realized I was at the end of my career. Yeah. Enough of this. Well, I leaned on it all through high school, because I started working restaurants in Alaska at 12, 13, 14, 15. At 15, I was too young. I already had 3 years experience. Managed to drive it at 16. That was back when kids were, Yeah, we were all different then, right?
Yeah.
And then 17 prep cook, sizzler, salad bar manager, all these things. And then when I moved over here in my early 20s, it was an easy fallback career just to go get a job in the restaurants.
Yeah, I would say after trying to do something else, like in between every other job, and then I somehow always end up at the kitchens.
Kitchen life ain't back of the house life ain't a bad life.
No, it's not. It's not.
All right, here's your single bag. Okay. Single bevel satin polish.
It's easy.
There you go. It'll get a little white. I left it with a little bite on it because I know you're slicing the heck out of fish with this one.
Yeah,
Based on the pleasant fish-like patina. Brendan, how you doing, bud? Good. Okay, 1 through 3. And we're going to be 30 bucks all together. Where you got the pin? I do got the pin. I just saw it right here. Because I was just showing my video streamers. I'm streaming on my boards. And I didn't like it. Streaming, wanting to get cash, or run card.
I was going to drop off your cutbacks and say,
No, it's fine.
Yeah, only when you have an overextended addiction to knives, it takes too long.
thank you. I'll see you in about a month then.
Okay. That's the way to play it.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Knocking it out of the park. These have never been sharpened.
Say that louder for the camera. What's that?
So these have never been sharpened.
Oh, them. Yeah. You know what? The Currycustom single bevel soup kit. They don't need to apologize. They don't have the hollow ground back end on them, but you still treat them the same way. I just resharpen the belt.
Yeah.
It's got to stick to it, don't I? Okay, that's all we need to do. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Let's go. I think I added up to 160 altogether. I did get everything in your case, and even the ones that looked okay were not. They needed it.
Yeah.
160 altogether.
Sweet. Yeah, this was kind of a fun one, huh?
Dude, that was fun. I was just showing my crew on the video, because I used to be a woodworker before, years ago. And so the level of craftsmanship, you just don't get this when it's made overseas in some sweatshop kind of thing. This was crafted.
The only thing this is, heirloom, is that I think someone must have replaced this piece.
Right.
Otherwise, they never would have allowed that overhang.
No. I just noticed that this morning. I didn't notice that yesterday, that there's an offset to the size.
But the only alternative is, I guess, my thought, honestly, was to undo this.
Yep.
I'm not going to touch it, to be honest, but undo this, and then just take a slight chunk out of this and we can go a little bit further deeper. That'd be the simplest way, wouldn't it? But I'm not going to touch it. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm not going to try to.
I wouldn't do that. I know what you're saying, like do the chop.
So this will set a little bit deeper, but this will set that.
Yeah, that's so hard. So the other thing you can do is lightly sand and chamfer the bottom edge of those. And then you got to redo the finish as well.
Yep.
So, cool. Oh, the air conditioning! Come on, baby!
Yeah, my fiance was like, she goes, "Why is everything so dull?" Hey.
Yeah, all right. Ow! Why don't you just stab you right in the heart? Right. Assault my independent. So what do you get used to? I'm 6 back, but the right side. How's this thing?
It's funny, like half the people are screaming and half the people are slaying. I'm slaying.
But I wouldn't be surprised you are.
The last 2 months were slow, but now it's so ramped up. It just comes down to, it's like business craft, not necessarily the skill of the business, but most people, as it gets leaner, they cut back.
Yep.
And that's when you unfortunately have to, I think the White House, yeah, of course, I couldn't remember the one.
No. I'm just looking for the rest of it.
But I am doubling down on marketing and everything else as a result, you know. But
Well, it is what you have to do, and it's always worked well for me. When things restrict, contract, you expand out.
market opens.
Market opens. We had when the recession of 2007 and 8, I expanded out with my digital gearboxes to all the bars and taverns, and it was a no-brainer for them because they just had to let me bring in the machine. And they don't have to pay any money for it, and then it adds value to their location. And so when everything was crashing down, I invested outwards about $80,000 into all this new equipment, and it made the businesses all do better, and everybody was happy.
Yeah, you know the method.
Yep, I do. You're on it. Anyways, that's the whole idea, and it's like that with everything. Even right now, people are talking about the tariffs and everything else. I'm actually thinking about Trump.
You know, the irony is that the people that will be hurting the most,
Yep.
there we go, the businesses are going to gouge clients or clientele whether they ever see that tariff stuff or not. And that's the sad thing is there, you know, the consumers are going to get screwed either way.
Well, it's like when the gas prices go up here and then they go back down and then ours stay up, and you go, hey, somebody's
Skimming here.
somebody's taking advantage of the situation for sure. Yep. And well, we're trying not to do that. In fact, what we're actually doing is I'm getting.
Don't share that with two people who are doing clean honest work.
Well, don't tell anybody that may be listening on YouTube. But we're actually getting ready to do the release of a pro value series of products that are exclusive to us that are about 2/3 the cost of. So instead of going up in price, we're actually coming up with a low cost alternative that's exceptionally good. That's more.
Those are knives or oils or
Belts, sandpapers, and abrasives.
When I get my own shop, I might eventually, but you still can't take the thousands of hours if you put into doing that. It's like
I'm 200,000 knives down the road.
and that's why, like, you know, the one knife, the kitchen knife base, yeah, they call that. Yeah. But anyways, it's all stuffed up.
Yeah.
I spent an hour on trying on it, and I'm like, this isn't working. I'm like, what am I shocked? I'm not shocked. No. Now the right hands, obviously, stoves can do amazing work. But not at the speed that you can do.
No, even then, there's certain limitations to what natural stones by hand can do.
Yeah.
You don't see anybody putting a set and finish on your refrigerator by hand.
Yeah.
You know, if you want it to look factory clean and uniform, you use factory type tools.
Yeah, the biggest challenge in any business is you don't have this problem as much, but I certainly do, which is how to get the message that you're different, you do things differently compared to the drug downstream. Because unless you work with someone, you don't know an outcome you never know. Just like a nice knife.
That's right.
You don't know a nice knife.
No, that's
every knife is fine.
That's a massively key point. How do you get, and I get asked this all the time, is how do you get from my first step to having everyone know that you're okay,
yeah,
and decent, and even exceptional. You know, dare I say, people look forward to coming to see you if they haven't seen in a long time because they know they're going to have a good time.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what it's about. Yeah, but it was fast, cheap, and good. And you're supposed to pick two, but I really think you can pick three because if you're good and fast, then you can afford to be affordable.
That's that old cliche where the guy's like, you know, why are you charging as much as something that you're saying you're happy?
Yeah,
like, because what you're not accounting for is the 10 years of hustle that it get faster. And so, like, don't hinder me because I'm faster. It's the quality is
right. No, definitely. Yeah. So, and some guys do play it that way too. It's I'm good and I'm fast, so I'm not going to beat you. Yeah. But if you're good and fast, then you can afford to be cheap.
Well, and also you have to be willing to get a little more when you're there. But I'm saying I'm not everyone's go-to.
No, that's true.
But if you respect it and you know what you're getting, no one ever minds it.
No, I charge $9 to $10 a knife. Some of the ones are a little more. And people say, can't you do it for $5 or $6? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You know.
And like I said, it's always that's but
Yeah, it is.
but like I said, you got to pay your time. I mean, there's a deal I'm doing right now with the I'm representing the buyer, the seller decided to represent himself. And
You want to put those in the towel? This thing never be safe. Like you can just put them all. Yeah, put them all there. And then when I wrap you up,
it's good. There you go. Thanks. But anyways, and there's been a couple of moments where they've been like, you could have done that for less. And I was like, yeah, I know. And they're like, but we paid. I mean, I literally got an extra $15,000 out of them. And they're like, you're paying for an agent whether you use one or not. I'm just taking advantage of the fact that you decided that you think you're smarter than me. But if you're not, it'll be the day in, day out.
you're not paying for it anyway.
Yeah. See you next time. Another one.
All right.
Hopefully soon, because I'm like to fish.
All right. Sounds good. Is this you here? No. What? Is this you?
Oh, it is. It won't get far.
There you go.
Thanks.
Sir, step right up over here.
Just buy them all.
That's right. You have to notice a certain camera in the back might be live stream. So you better have it.
Where's the camera?
To the right. Show you right where it's at.
Oh, is it the webcam? Yeah.
We're right here. I'm live streaming to Kit and to YouTube at the same time. At least I think I am. Uh-oh, somebody heard about the new belts. Sneak peek at new belts. Sneak peek, new belts, huh? Well, that's actually why I'm doing the live streams, is because we can do cool stuff like this. Structured abrasive. I'd say it's 90% as durable as a Trizac. And it's going to be our Pro Value series is what we're going to call it. I haven't priced them out yet. The first shipment's here. We're on the way, and we're trying to get them here before the 4th of July sale. So stay tuned. Okay, what do you got?
I just right now.
Okay,
Just
halfway up. Okay. Let's do it. Can we do it right now?
yeah. Good.
Okay. Why do I see an offset bevel grind? The back side, it's got a small bevel, just so you get a large bevel?
Yeah. Originally, it was.
It's got a symmetrical grind though.
It does. It does.
I mean, you can grind the edge bevels or your apex bevel. You can grind those a little one, and a big one, and you can do all that. But the actual knife symmetry itself is symmetrical.
It is. Okay. Because when I got it, it was pretty close to that. Actually, I took it farther.
You know, if you look down here as it goes up on both sides, they both just taper in slightly. And then the bevels themselves are where they grind it. So what you have is you have about a 80-20 grind. But if we're going to thin this down to 0, I can still leave you with an 80-20. But we're still going to zero both sides evenly. So,
Okay.
I mean, how are you using this?
So that I use to put your fitting.
Do you want to keep it mostly flat on the back? I mean, it's not technically flat, but
To be honest, no, because right now it kind of like cuts at an angle.
well, that's what happens is when you offset the bevel with that 80-20, it tends to want to curve. All right, well, let's just reset the knife.
Thank you.
You want me to do it while you're hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I have is just, I gotta order later. Working at Nobu now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got two different streams going. What we're going to do here on camera, I'll move the camera over so you guys can watch me do it. It's going to take a little bit. He wants me to actually thin this knife, and it's got a 80-20 grind on the apex. It's not in bad shape. It's you must be using a high grit whetstone on it.
Yeah.
Because you got a semi-mirror polished edge. But overall, because of the way the bevel's over on one side and not on the other, when he goes to cut, it's drifting to the side. So we're going to thin it back to a zero grind or close to a zero grind. And then we're going to just put a fine little apex bevel up on top. Basically make it back into a laser form. Let me get a little bit of water for my squirt bottle. I can't play any music though because we're live streaming. All right, let me just turn the camera a little bit so you guys can watch. That should do it. And we're going to thin this knife. I think we can start with a fresh belt. We are almost fully restocked on the 2x42s, just in case anybody was interested. And we're overstocked on everything except for the last shipment we got coming, so that we can have everything for everybody by 4th of July. But we have a huge amount of stuff already overstocked. Maybe I'll show the shelves later on. I've got the Radius Platin from Ryan Swanson here. The main thing, as I've talked about before, as I'm checking, is when I'm sharpening here, I want to make sure I've got a nice gap where it drops off so that you don't scratch the sides where you don't want it to. Got my goggles. Somebody asked about my dust extraction system. It's here. I just got to plug it in and get it set up. And got a little dust mask here somewhere. Sorry, no music.
It's okay. I don't mind.
All right. All right, 80 grit, fresh, mask, eye protection. I like to go horizontal, head bleeding away. That clean belt cut so quick. Probably won't show up very well. I might be able to get a better light on it. Here we go. So where you see the satin polish, that's where I just ground. Where it still looks shiny is where it's still out at the edge. And I'm focusing right now on bringing the two surfaces together and not hitting the apex yet, but trying to balance them out. So I know I'm going to need to do more on this side. While you're going, you want to look for any little warbles that may be there that aren't from you, but that's that assessment where you're looking at it to make sure it's straight. And honestly, sometimes there's just manufacturing stuff that happens when it's being made. This doesn't have to take a long time either. Focusing more on that back side where it needs to be straightened out. And then, of course, you're feeling it too. This side feels fine. Still just a little bit on this side. The tip's a little bit rounded. I like to wet it.
Currently, in Kula, it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit with intermittent clouds. Today, you can expect clouds and showers with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 65 degrees.
I did not ask Alexa to do anything. So what I did is I started at the tip and I rolled it off while I was keeping it wet. Watch it again. Get it wet. That way you can put that slope back on there without goofing it up. A little bit more to do back at the heel. The heel has been compressed. This is a great example of a heel that's been compressed, and for sure it wasn't hit with a belt sander. Okay, that's thinned out. No ridges, no bumps. I can see my cladding. That's the 80 grit belt. Now I'm going to jump. My preferred course of action is to jump to the A160, which is 100 grit tri-vac. Hey there. Hey. Dropping off or? Okay, right to send there. And take me, I'll be doing them in the next 20 minutes or so. Leave your name phone over there for me again. Good to see you. I'm in the middle of doing a big thing. So now that we've done the heavy grind work, okay, sounds good. I'll be ready for you. I don't think that this platen, well, yeah, the multi-tool, it might fit on the multi-tool. If it doesn't fit, you can make it fit. The multi-tool platen actually has the little side wings on it. So if they're in the way, grind them off. Okay, first step. Ooh, this is looking good, feeling good. We got the nice thinning all the way down. We got our shape and our profile. And I'm going to go right from a P80 grit Cubitron, and I'm going to go straight over to Trizac's. This is the Trizac 100 grit A160. And all I'm doing is scratch removal at this point. Probably won't show up on the camera very well. And this will help blend anything out I need to blend out. Not pressing very hard at all. Now I'm going to do the front side. I'm going to be very careful not to remove the writing. This is pulling in the satin polish. You can actually just see a couple low spots from where the manufacturing from the factory was, and we don't have any, just a little more blending to do. I'll say I don't necessarily like about the flatten is because I'm going edge trailing. They put the bump down here, and I wish it was closer up here so I didn't have to stretch so far over the machine. All I'm doing is satin polishing. I'm not sharpening. And I'm being even a little extra fussier because you guys are watching. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So that was 100 grit. If you wanted to go crazy, it's good right now, you guys. But I know some guys go through a 5-step process. I'm going to go through the coarse grind, a satin polish, a final polish step. pride in your work. So when I look, I see the spots I need to go back and touch, and then I go touch them, and when you're done, stop. I think it's the big curse of most sharpeners is they just don't stop when they need to. Okay, that's a beautiful satin polish. Now we're going to go ahead and just put the final edge on and sharpen it. I'll just do my 3-step. I did watch an Apex while I was doing it. Barely touch it. This is where you straighten out any make sure there's no hollow spots or flat spots. Sharpening at about 15 degrees. So I just cut in the primary bevel. The Apex bevel. Do you like that little sharp little tip on the back that just cuts your finger when you touch it, or you do like that? Round it off a little bit. Round it off seems to be just like that. That seems to be a customer preferred. One more satin polish. That's a 400 grit satin polish. Now, if you want it slightly toothy or a polished edge, a little toothy. That's my boy. If you wanted it polished, we just take it up and buff it on the buffer. But since we went edge bleeding and we have that fine tooth that's sticking right now, add a little more to it. Then we'll come in, then we'll adjust that final bite. Very light on the wheel. And of course, I put a scratch in the side with my thing because I didn't tape it up. Rubbing alcohol, buff, wipe, phone book. There's our final perfectly tapered, thin, 0 ground, really small primary bevel. And we still kept that little bit of bite on it that's sticking to the thumbnail. There we go. That'll be $200, please.
Yeah, so it's nice. Thanks for bringing in the right tool at the right time so I can show people on the camera.
Yeah, of course, that's fun.
Let's go. Mr. Carr, are you?
Enjoy.
No.
Thank you, man. Good to see you. Everything going good?
Yeah.
So, where did you say you're at now?
Nova.
Yeah,
The guys are nice there, aren't they?
they're really nice.
Yeah, I thought like each restaurant's got its own personality.
You guys say we're not worried about it.
No, exactly. Like some of the guys are way too fussy for weird stuff. Okay, you enjoy it. All right, brother. See ya. Woo, that was fun. Hopefully, I did that justice, and you guys liked that work I did. Yeah, actually, let me just jump in with the first comment I saw. There is a really good reason why I sat and polished on the belt rather than a wheel. Wheel, if you think about a wheel, it's like your knuckle. And if the flat surface is the knife, and you try to get a uniform scratch pattern and a consistency to a flat surface when you're using your knuckle, it's really hard. What works really good to get a satin polish on a flat surface is a flat surface. And so belts and the side of knives work really good together to get that final uniform finish. They're not good at concentrated pressure or pinpoints. A smaller knife like this, which is another thinning project I've set off to the side here, you could get away with using a wheel because it's only that big and you can go back and forth. But a large, beautiful, flat, straight knife, always try to go to a Scotch-Brite belt or a Scotch-Brite any belt to do your satin polish. And you'll see that your uniform scratch pattern and the satin polish is much cleaner and factory looking. I mean, that came out mint. I was really happy to do that for him. He's a good friend and he's been a good customer for a long time. He's honestly just a really nice guy. Nice young guy. So that was a winner. He's stoked. For those asking, I charged $30. Well, that was fun. Let me catch up on comments. Ventilation system is right here, and it'll be plugged into the back room. I should have that done by next week, you guys. You're actually helping and motivating me to get set up into this place fully. We were fully set up over at the other location, and then we had to relocate, and it just gut punched me, really is what it did. All that time and effort, and then to have to rip it all out. I was not planning to move, and then when we had to move on short notice, we landed here. It's a great location, and it's been a good spot, but I just haven't had the motivation to really set it back up, and I know you need to have it. You guys, I know. So what we do is every week we clean up around and behind all the machines, but we do have the piping run and the dust extractor and everything's in the back room attached to a shop vac, and we'll get that plugged in hopefully by next week, and then I'll show you guys how that works as well. On the AMK 2x42, I mean, here's the thing. 2-inch belts for sure, in my opinion, just an opinion, are the way to go to rock and roll, to get knife thinning done, larger machetes done, lawnmower blades, etc., etc. That's where your action's at. I don't, for actual sharpening of a knife and that quarter of a millimeter wide micro bevel that's on the apex, I think a 1-inch machine is better for that. But for a 2-inch, for grinding, for thinning, absolutely. They each got their place, and you can, of course, you can thin a machete on a 1-inch blade. I've made knives on a 1-inch blade. You can sharpen pocket knives on a 2-inch blade. I prefer the precise control I get for doing smaller items and for kitchen items when I'm just doing the apex bevel on a 1-inch system. That's my preference. And I prefer the 2-inch machine by far. It was the biggest game changer I did is when I bought my 2-inch machine. Here's my original 2-inch machine, which is funny because it's perfectly functional. Whoa! This is the beast. This is the one that was in my truck for a long time. That is a Palmgren reversed motor, digital variable speed. It's a monster. It's a 2x36. I really like the small form factor. The 2x36 is, help me with math. Why am I trying to do math? 18 inches top to bottom, so 1.5 feet, where the 2x48 would be another this much higher. So it'd be 2 foot by 2 foot. So I prefer the 1.5 foot high to the 2 foot high just because I was in the band. I do have this moving up and away, and it was a very nice way to do it as well. You get to where you it's muscle memory where you just put it, and all the dust and everything's moving up and away. You need a dust extraction to catch it up here. This thing has variable speeds, preset speeds that go from 900 to 1800 to 3600, and you can adjust it incrementally anywhere in between. It's an absolute amazing tool. I haven't turned it on in 2 years. Let's see if it works. This is a cardboard wheel. That's 900 RPMs right there. You can hear how quiet it is. Really a lot of control at 900 RPMs. You can go up to 1800 RPMs. Or it can go all the way up. That's 3600. And then you can incrementally step it down 100 RPMs at a time. That's an amazing tool. It's also designed so that the wheel's moving away and you can do your stropping with the safety guard in place so you don't accidentally hit it in the front. I used this tool for a long time and loved it. For those that, the whole buy once, cry once crowd that say you got to spend $1,000 on a machine, this is $1,000 machine. $500 to $600 for the machine, the Palmgren sander, $200 to $300 for the multi-tool. You had to adapt it and kind of modify it, built it, and you have to fiddle with it to get it to attach to it. And yet you see me doing work like I just put out with a $200 multi-tool, and I have another one for backup. So for $600, I've got 3 machines that I'm probably never going to use. I'll never use that one. I've got a spare already. Anyways, you get the idea. I do like the multi-tool. I am going to take this arm and attach it to this machine, and we'll do that probably on camera one of these days. At the end of the day, they're all just a motor turning a belt. And yeah, then you got quality, and I mean a Harbor Freight 1x30 is not a quality piece of equipment, and so people like to tease it, and you know, because it's a little piece of garbage. Well, it's just a frame and a motor and a couple idler wheels. Here's a Buck Tool 1x30, slow speed, 1750 RPMs. This will last probably 10 years. I don't know how long it'll last. It cost me $130. It runs smooth. You can sharpen with it. You don't need more than that. Hey there. What do you got? Take it.
Nice.
Yep. Nice. Angle guides. The next shipment of angle guides is in. Now these are the upgrade portions only, because once again, just as I've come to market with a new product, the supply of angle guides has disappeared. So I can't buy the angle guides anymore. I think you can still get them off of Amazon. What the heck? All right. Yep. So here we go. We got our packaging. These are the upgraded. These are the angle guide upgrade, where you take the existing angle guide and then you just bolt this new swing arm onto it. And the swing arm is what we worked, prototyped, tested, adjusted, and then found a manufacturing source to make it here in the United States, which is cool. Can't get everything here in the United States, but the angle guides themselves, I still don't know where they come from. I never could get the secret information about where that source is. But here's the new. We're making them out of 304 stainless steel, and then they're brass tumbled, or not brass tumbled, they're tumbled. Remove all the burrs. We are going to be putting the angle marks on the side at some point, but you really can't see the back frame of the machine anyway, so it doesn't. The best bet you got is just to use an angle guide and then mark it yourself, the spots that you want. We do have about 100 of the original angle guides left to upgrade and sell as a full angle guide. It's not just the upgrade. Yeah, I've heard good things. Skip Mania, I've heard good things about the AMK 2x42. I know it's not cheap. Motor turning a belt, and the rest is, I think it's actually more important. Do you like to go edge horizontal? Some people sharpen vertical with the belt moving downwards, and they hold it. And like this, which is more like the way a knife maker will sharpen, but we're talking about holding upwards sometimes, I think. I wouldn't do that. My concern is what's directly below that, and that's my feet. I'm going to lose his name here. Give me a second. Ken Swartz. He made the diamond compounds. He was, before he passed away, rest in peace. He was a industry, leader. He took my phone call when I was a little newbie guy, and he was super nice, and I was super intimidated by him, and he was just super nice. He'd be like, yeah, man, I'm just a guy just like you, relax. And he, with 20 years or more of sharpening experience, had a knife on a wheel or a belt, and it caught, and it threw it straight down, and it went straight down into his foot, and it just about took off the first 3 toes. And after that, he started wearing steel-toed boots. Well, the belt is moved. This is a safety issue that I'm trying to discuss, is if the belts and everything are moving away from you, then, and you keep your hands and your fingers behind as much as possible, you're not holding it like this or like this when the belt's coming down, you want to avoid that. Does that make sense? It does. So when you see me, I'm always got the thing, and you just want to minimize the possibility of getting hurt. And taking a moment and thinking about it before you do it is one of the things that you do. What happened originally, before there was the 1x30, that we actually have, I have the Rikon slow speed, I have the Bucktool slow speed. About the only machine that was out on the market that was variable speed or slower speed was the AMK. And at the time I was working with a 1x30, I had somebody tell me about a special DC motor from Penn State. And in private, I adapted a wheel to that motor, and I made my first variable speed DC motored 1x30. And this was back 10 years ago now. And then at that time, I started to make the custom wheels so that I could tell other people, and you can go buy the motor, you can bolt it, you can get the wheel from me, here we go. And right as I did that first round, they discontinued that motor, and the price went from $120. It was the Penn State half-horse motor, I think it was, and it went from $120 with controller to $180. And so it became almost not cost-effective. And then I switched to having these wheels manufactured and try to go to the DC variable speed motor, which goes forward, the digital speed controlled servo motor controller. And that's how we ended up, that's the progression. And I did that because there was nothing else on the market. Now we have these tools, you can literally, does this have digital speed control? No. Does it have forward and reverse? No. Is it $130, and does it work at the right speed? Yes. And so both of these machines work great, and you don't have to mess with them. You don't have to be a mechanical engineer and tinker with things. If you do want a nice wheel and you want to do it with DC speed control, we're still selling a lot of these, and a lot of people are still making their own Franken sharpener, as they call them. And we'll continue to add and upgrade some parts. So I have this machine here. That's a great question. I believe out of the box, this machine, yeah, it comes like this. So this machine out of the box comes and goes downwards, and this would be the front where the power switch is. And all I've done is I've flipped it over on its back. I've done this in videos. Flip it over on its back, take out the 2 screws, flip the motor around or flip the base around, and then screw it back in. And it actually has this bolt in it. I didn't do that. And that's so that it can go and rest horizontally. And it's really just a great way to operate the machine. The belt's moving away from you. You have your dust collection back here at the back. The wheel is moving away from you. For safety, for sure, there should be, for safety, put a little board here, put something here. And that way there's no chance that you can bump your knife into that thing and have it flick up into your head. If it's here, because you're only sharpening here, moving that way anyways. So a safety board here is something I highly recommend, I highly encourage people to do. It's really a matter of time. If you've ever watched a world-class juggler when they're juggling, have you ever seen them drop a ball? They all drop a ball. You do 10, 20, 50,000 knives, there's going to be the day where you slip or you're moving too quick or something happens. And if you bobble a knife and it comes over and hits that at 40 miles an hour, that knife is going to go shoot up into the ceiling. Hopefully it goes up into the ceiling. And you can prevent all of that just by having that little board right there. So there's no way for you to bump into it. I know I'm all over the place, but hopefully that gives you guys some ideas. With this machine, this $200 2x42 machine, I'm still running my very first one. I did cut it out back here. I did a video on that. We've got the riser platen, but here's something that you probably won't hear. This platen will wear out. So if I'm not doing thinning, I'm going to take this platen off so I get better lifespan out of it, because once it wears out, I've had one or two before that I've made myself, and once the coating wore off, I should have taken it, stripped it, re-glued it, taped it, and then put it back on, and that time and hassle just didn't make. I just started using the flat platen again, which I've learned how to use to do stuff with. This is better. But if I want it to last longer, when I'm not thinning a knife, then what I should do is straighten back out my platen, and then just put where's my 80 grit belt? There it is. I like 80, I like 50. I don't like 180. So you guys saw that little 3-step I did. I did 80 grit to grind in the bevel, 100 grit Trizac to satin polish, and then a 400 grit Trizac to give it the final satin polish. 1, 2, 3. I'm a big fan of 3-step processes. 1 step to remove damage and reshape something. 2nd step is to blend and refine, and the 3rd step is the final step. And I haven't been able to find it to get it down to anything more than 3 steps. For sharpening, for thinning, for polishing and finishing, I haven't been able to figure out a way to do it any quicker than that. Anyways, how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Chris, you asked where do I get my working lights from? And I get them off of Amazon. I have a link. I have an affiliate store. I don't push it hard. I do have, if you can find it, it's really hard to find the link, but Curry Custom Cutlery has an Amazon affiliate store. I've got all the basic things that I use linked. And I did that more just so I can have everything that people want to have in one spot, rather than the 10 cents I make on commission or whatever it is. I don't even know. Don't care. But the idea is that if you need something, you can go there and you can see exactly what I use. One of the things that really comes up a lot, I need to get some more myself, is the stupid tape. And I've got the link there on the Amazon store. It's the somebody will help me out. Here it is. Actually, I've got some right here. I'll put some on my machines right now. We'll do it together. It's a polymer tape is what it is. Nice. How many people are watching on YouTube and how many people are watching on Kick? I got 3 on Kick. Nobody's on Kick yet. Nobody knows what Kick is yet. Kick is the new Twitch alternative. I may just start throwing these in people's orders, the little tape. Charge 25 cents or something. The tape isn't cheap, but it's not super expensive either. All right. Clean your surface. Surgical prep, use the back of your hand. Yeah. Anyone else have trouble getting the tape off of things? Like double-sided sticky tape and things like that? Was it always that hard? I mean, I got fingernails. All right, so here's what the tape actually looks like when you peel it off the backing. It's semi-clear, but it feels... I'm trying to think what it feels like. It's super slippery, that's what it feels like. There we go. Now just wrap around the edges. I don't bother doing the top. And that's all there is to it. So it's like everything else. It's just going to be an upgrade, one step at a time deal. Tuesday, which was 2 days ago, I got the sign up. I got the bench cleared and cleaned. Today is the second day. And we are multi-streaming on 2 different platforms. I've adjusted the audio quality. I think there is a little bit of a sync delay. But if you guys can hear me, then that's fine. Yeah, I figured if I live stream while I'm sharpening, you guys can get some information out of it, hopefully. We can discuss different things that people want to talk about. I can show you some of the new stuff we got going on, and I can get some of my projects completed in real time while you guys are here, which is pretty damn cool. See, I saw a question pop up. Kick I'm brand new with. Kick is, what's happened is Twitch, I've considered live streaming before, and Twitch was the go-to channel for that originally, and Twitch is kind of falling apart right now for everybody. They're not being very good to people that do the work. So with them, Kick is kind of the up-and-coming one, and I just thought I'd set it up. And multi-streaming is where it's at. So while I'm attracting new people that maybe are on Kick and see me on Kick, I've still got my existing YouTube customers, YouTube subscribers, and people that see me there. Inspection time. One of the nice things with Japanese knives, or nicer knives in general, is they tend to be better kept, unless the guys are, you know, scrappers working in the kitchen. Perfect knife, perfect symmetry, perfect grind. And there is the apex bevel. I don't know if it'll show up or not. It's as thin as a hair. It's that thin. Can I do it on a 2-inch belt? I wouldn't use an 80 grit belt. Even with the lightest of touch, you're going to just chew it apart. But with a part of the key to the thing, and I repeat myself a lot, but the key is that the light is coming down. And so you'll get people, oh, stop, you're using 120 grit and it's sticking up. I can see from the light that it still did not apex. And if you switch sides, don't do more than 1 or 2 passes per side. Go one side, then the other side, then the other side. And that way you work it down and you're keeping the bevel symmetrical and in the middle, where if you go all the way to one side and then you come all the way to the other, you've just removed all that material coming down. Very light, hardly touching the belt. Down the back. Down the back. This one has just a little bit of a little swoop in it. So I'll just touch the bolster a little more. Not pushing hard. And then I'm going to go right on the other side of that swoop right in here. And I'm just going to push in. And I'm going to cut down. And then when I do one full swipe, the whole thing's evened out. So I didn't need to go take it over to a 2-inch machine and grind it flat and take off about a 1/2 mil and then re-apex it and take off another 1/4 mil. I was able just to take a little bit of material off here and a little bit of material off here and then blend it all together. All on that 1x30. Our 3M electrical tape is kind of slick, but it's nowhere near as slick as this stuff here, this polymer tape. Also, electrical tape tends to wear through. This is very durable. Grit refinement step with the Trizac belt. Beautiful knives. The angle guide is then that bevel that's on that knife looks like it just came straight from the factory. It's perfectly crisp and clean. This angle here is slightly more obtuse, is the best way I can put it. If you're at 15 degrees, this would be at 15.5, and that makes sure that the apex of the knife is hitting the belt and not the shoulder of the knife is hitting the belt. You don't want to go lower on the second step. You want to come up just a hair higher to ensure that your apex is hitting the belt. That little bit makes all the difference probiotics in the world. So I'm gonna sharpen these the way I normally would. Japanese knives always get a light touch, usually get a light touch on the leather wheel as well, but it's a very light touch. I still want to feel that stick and that drag. That's got a fine drag to it. And then let's pull out the best tester. Let's pull out Bessie. Did we just give our tester a nickname? Maybe I did. It's a stupid name, but. Okay. Rubbing alcohol removes any residue, any compound. It's food safe, and it evaporates. Do not recommend using any cleaning chemicals on a kitchen food knife that you wouldn't be prepared. I will use brake cleaner, and then after I use brake cleaner on something, if it's going to be around food, I'll make sure I double do it in rubbing alcohol. Brake cleaner will take off compound like nobody's business. All right, let's go. I'm really loving this new toy, by the way. Justin sent it to me. I got to play with one early on, but I didn't enjoy it as much. And maybe because it had the little thread you had to tie together, but okay, we're zeroed. Okay, and again, this is a slightly toothy edge, so it's functionally a performer because it can slice and it's got that bite to it. We are zeroed. I'm going to go as slow as I can. 128. I kind of stuttered there for a minute. No karate chops. Don't be karate chopping telling me you got a 10. Let's reset. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay, and hold on. Okay, 0. As slow as can be. Okay, 147 that time. So maybe I did it a little bit. But watch this. We'll just take it over here to the buffing wheel. Rubbing alcohol. Wipe it clean. No tooth. Looks like it's on glass. Okay. For realsies, zeroed, polished edge. 1, 2, 114. So that was a 120 grip belt, a 60 grip 600 grip refinement belt, a little stropping, and the main one there is the big one was the buffer. You could play around with this. Probably get it under 100 in just a few minutes. That one's chopped. That was chopped. One of the reasons why I got the tester was so that we can see how fast and how quick you can actually get something to under 100. So if I was to take the 2-inch machine, going at a very low angle, with an 80 grit belt, I satin polished to also did at a very low angle. So I used 80 grit at a low angle, a 240 grit wheel just to satin polish and to make sure the burr is all up. Now I'm going to remove the burr. Also at a low angle. Gently. I don't want the particles of the Scotch-Brite to wrap over the top of the apex. Then I'm going to very gently try to strop this. Tower strop it. Still, it's only 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Just wipe it clean. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. Okay. We've got our fresh tester in. Zeroed. Last one. Down. 3, 2, 1. 66. I'm not shitting you. No, it says 72. I touched the thing. Let's try it one more time. Last time. Last one. Promise. Last one. Okay. Here we go. Okay, 0. Okay, hold it. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Then drop it down slowly. 3, 2, 1. That was a 60. So decreasing the angle and polishing the edge allows you to get a better best score. Will that cut a tomato? Maybe, but it sure feels like it's on. I almost cut myself, so there you go. Am I going to bleed? No bleed. Just got scratched. The lower the angle, the better things go, man. The lower your angle goes, the more like corrugated roofing, the more aggressive the bite of the tooth is just by lowering the angle. So there's live on camera. I took this thing and popped a 60, well below, a couple different times in the 60s. That was a 6D. And I did that from an 80 grit belt, 240 grit wheel, 600 grit wheel, and polish. It's more about how you polish the burr off than anything, you guys. Once you got a coarse apex on something, the magic of that is when I go edge leading, I'm coming in and I leave a toothy edge. And that toothy edge is what gives you that real good slice and bite. But it isn't the most optimal for getting the finest hair popping edge because you're coming in. So I always think of it like a soft serve ice cream cone. When you lick an ice cream cone and it flicks that little material up, it can become as wispy and as thin, and then you're trying to buff and polish that off by weakening it, moving it back and forth. And that is how you get the ultimate in sharpness, is edge trailing. Does it have a slicey, strong, toothy formation? No. But they're both fun to play with. Hey, Chad! What's up? Dude! Just playing around, man. You guys are helping me get stuff done, so thanks for popping in. Yeah, that knife came out poppy. So that was fun. That guy will be really happy with his knives. That thinning job we did earlier today, I'm a little proud of. I'm glad you guys all got to hang out with me while we did it. Hopefully these videos won't be seen by as many people because you have to go through the live stream to find. Maybe I can clip out that part and make a separate video. Okay, guys, real talk. When they wrap it in a towel and then they wrap it in saran wrap so tight, sometimes oh, it just came off. Okay, never mind. Never mind. The old wrapped in saran wrap, the towel makes it a little easier, but when they wrap it in saran wrap, and you got to try to unwrap a bunch of knives all wrapped super tight in saran wrap, that's a crazy deal. Skip, man, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Every Tuesdays, every Thursdays, about 10 to noon is going to be, maybe a little later, but I'm going to try and fire this thing up Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. Hawaiian time, and I'll announce it more. And if everyone enjoys this kind of format where we can just kind of, shop talk and hang out and I sharpen and demonstrate and maybe show you guys some sneak previews of stuff, I dig it. So hopefully it works for you guys because I love it. All right, guys. Whoever's got to go, I appreciate you coming by a lot. And for the rest of us, I'm just going to sharpen up a few more. Down and back, down and back. Never heard that before. My big goal before next Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I got 4 days, is to get my dust extraction system set up. All I need to do is poke a hole through the wall, run the tube over, connect it to the machines. One of the cool things that really makes it work is there's this little electrical box, and the dog groomers were the first ones that I heard about it from, that when they turn on their clipper, it turns on their vacuum. And so it electrically tells when you turn on something by the voltage drop or the connection coming through it, and then it kicks on the other one. So when I turn on this machine, my vacuum in the other room will automatically kick on and start the suction process. And then when I turn off any of these, I'll put all of these machines on a power strip that connects to the on-off circuit. And that's all there is to that. And I had all that set up. Did you guys catch the part where I asked him if he wanted me to leave that little tip on the back end, the little sharp little part that bites? And he said no. Most guys, when you ask them, they want that little tip. Most guys I know. Because that's the one that when they touch it, it bites them. Yeah. Chad, did you see me do that best test a minute ago? Were you here for that? fan of any time they wrap it in tape. I got a fan blowing right behind me. Well, thank the powers that be that the air conditioner finally decided it was going to stay on after I kicked it 3 times this morning. I thought I was going to be suffering all day. There we go. Freestanding phone book paper. Straight down. It's not actually that hard of a trick. I would say this probably best tests at about 110 because I did leave that bitey edge on it. Where's that one? Part of what I like to do, and I've talked about it before, but it goes back to when I was learning how to sharpen, and I would put an edge on something, and then I would look at it under a microscope, and then I would feel it. And so I've got A, B, and C, and they all click together in my head. And so when I see somebody and they do that to a knife, I can see in my head what that edge should look like. And then when I feel it, and it feels like what I thought it would feel like, they all kind of synchronize, and you have confirmation based on experience. And so that polished edge that we did, that this thing popped like a 65 or 60s, whatever. I know under a microscope you would look at that, and there wouldn't be a hint of a shadow. I can almost do it. I got my laptop out here, so we can maybe do that in the future. If I put the laptop where we can do it, that's part of what I want to do. Is then I can show you what the apex looks like, but it's polished. There's not going to be any tooth. It's going to be basically just like it feels when it slides across your fingernail. It's going to be flawless. And what that's really good for is push cuts, because that's all it does on the best tester, is it's just doing a push cut. I mean, that's stupid. It's also at a very thin, low angle, because this is not a heavy use item. This is a very delicate piece. All of that is just kind of background information of why I did that low angle on this and polished it. And it's amazing that you can get that kind of score with just a couple belts and a few seconds. And if anybody dares mention heat damage, when you saw how little I touched it to any of the belts for how little of time, then I will have a separate video about heat damage that I'll do. Because everybody loves controversy. Yeah, the EMK 75. Here's the thing. Here's my CCC 25. It's a 1x30, it's a motor, it's a couple wheels, and it's going edge trailing. The thing I don't enjoy is the clamp method, the sharpening on a stick, because you are limited to only going edge trailing. Edge trailing will give you that sharp edge, but usually you have to, once you bring up a burr, and it's an edge trailing burr, like we were just talking about a minute ago, it can lead you to a higher level of sharpness, but it cannot lead you to a higher level of toothy biteness because of the weak nature of the foil burr and the required. There's no way to get around it. When you have a foil burr, how are you going to get that foil burr off? Unless you use some sort of other advanced method, like going edge leading on a stone to cut that burr off and put the tooth back in, if you're just going to buff and polish that burr off, you're always going to have a polished edge. It's going to be very sharp. You can get low test scores like I just got, but you won't have a bite. And you won't, more importantly, bite meaning you won't have a strong toothy edge formation because you weren't coming in with the belt to get that and set yourself up to refine it and bring it all together. And so edge trailing is fine, and a lot of people do it. It's definitely the safest way, and it's definitely the easiest way because you can visually see the burr, and then you buff and remove the burr any number of ways, and you get a product that they're going to go home and nobody's going to complain about it. You know, I think we get too wound up about who does this the right way and the wrong way, and there's I've been on other forums that I felt like I was in an alternate reality. They're using Scotch-Brite belts to deburr and wheels to sharpen. They use wheels to sharpen, Scotch-Brite belts to deburr, and I'm like, what planet are you from? I'm sure at the end of the day, they cut paper and they cut tomatoes like everything else for everybody, for sure, right? So that's the crazy thing, is that there's all these different ways. All they're doing is taking a chunk of metal and bringing it together, and then at the microscopic level, making sure that apex is as little as possible and there's no burr remaining. And the type of edge formation, the toothiness, and the polishedness are all extra little details, but you're already at the what I call the top of the mountain. And some guys get really hung up about getting to the top and planting their flag and getting that best score. You know, I've seen guys work on whetstones for hours until their fingers were practically bleeding, trying to get that apex. I just popped it. I just popped a 60 in under 30 seconds. Is it good enough? Yeah, it's good enough for me. And do I pop a 60 every day? No, but when I do, you know you're going to hear about it. Anyways, guys, this is day 2 for the live stream. Curry. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Hopefully the vocals come out a little better. I didn't hit the record button again because I'm a dork, but both of these will be up on YouTube and on Kick, so hopefully that'll work for everybody. Got all kinds of other stuff planned. Anything you want to hear or talk about, let me know. If you need any products, you know where to go. shop.currycustomcutlery.com. We do have our 4th of July sale coming up. I am literally working my butt off to get stocked, and we've got hundreds of items coming in every couple weeks. I got 4,000 more items coming in right now, so that can be fully stocked by the 4th of July sale, which will be in 3 weeks. And we got new products coming out real soon. I'm still testing, but I hate to do it ahead of time. But sneak peek, one more time, sneak peek. These are not Trizact. They're Mizact. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a stupid name. These are the Pro Value line. We're calling it the CCC Pro Value line. And I think these could be a game changer. If we can offer them for 2/3 the cost of Trizacts, and they operate 90. I just did all the sharpening on one right there, and I've been using it for a week and a half. So the Cubitron simulator, nothing beats a Cubitron, you guys. That's just all there is to it. But we'll have these new products out, and then we got some more new surprises coming. And I think there's a trade show coming up. The Wolf Show will be sometime in the fall. I'm looking forward to going to the Wolf Show. This is all just going to be happening real quick. Anyways, I think we'll sign off for here today, you guys. 2 hours is cool. I really appreciate everybody showing up and watching. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks again, everybody, for coming and being a part of it. And if you got any suggestions or anything, just let me know how we can do it better. All you guys, thanks for coming. Some of you guys are here from the very beginning, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. We'll do it again. All right, you guys, aloha. Have a great day. Aloha.